a very good stead. They have to get through K23 to get to that Espada Grand Final. We'll be live with the pistol in just a few moments.
You're absolutely right. This is a little bit of a change of caliber for Team Spirit as well. Obviously, they have been on a bit of a break, but not necessarily a break. It's more they've had other stuff going on. We saw them earlier on in the year. They were playing in Pro League. We saw them in the Clutch Island event, which was against a very high caliber of side as well. So a lot of these actual teams that they've played against and the wins that they've racked up have been against just a higher caliber than K23 here. Actually, some of these tier 1 teams, and that really adds to this because, as I say, when you look at this map pool and they have more than a 50% win ratio against, in fact, on every single map, the teams that those were against were actually some of these tier 1 sides as well. So I think there's a whole world of promise on Team Spirit here. In my mind, the only way K23 get this one done is if they actually convert this first map of Mirage, and then maybe there's an opportunity for them to take the third over the edge as well. They lose Mirage here, though. I think they are going to struggle greatly, and there's potential for it to happen. Team Spirit, whilst it's one of their worst maps, it's not bad by any means. They've been putting up some fantastic results on it. They've still got a 50% win ratio on it, actually taking wins against teams like OG, Namiga, Heroic, some of those really, really strong sides. I think there's definitely potential for this one to swing the way of Team Spirit, and if it does so, I really fancy their chances in this series.
I'm excited to get into this action. Live with the pistol round in just a few moments. I do think Team Spirit, they're firm favorites coming into this one. I think the betting odds as we get into round 1 will pretty much just confirm that. Realistically, I just want to see some Counter-Strike between these two teams. I think Spirit have already won that knife fight, so they get to start on that favored CT side. Map like Mirage, you probably want to be favoring that counter-terrorist to start. I think it matters a lot less, to be perfectly honest with you, compared to a map like Train, a map like Nuke, where you do want that CT side almost all of the time. Well, get into things. Next couple of seconds, we'll be seeing that pistol. And I think more so than anything else, I'm just excited to see exactly how hot Team Spirit come into this series. I know amongst the years, sometimes they're slightly slow starters, but if they can pick up a pistol, a bunch of rounds to get things started, put K23 on the back foot, I think that means real problems for the Kazakhstani side. See how we get into things in the next couple of moments.
Well, that's absolutely the question. If Team Spirit come into this one full guns blazing, they steamroll this first map, I think K23 are really, really going to struggle to come back into this series after a loss on their home turf. But if Team Spirit, as you say, they come into this one, they're not fully awake, they let this one slip away, then there's definitely potential for there to be an upset. It wouldn't be a massive upset, but K23 certainly the slight underdogs going into this one.
Yeah, I wonder, just probably a couple of technical issues before they get started. You see some die young, maybe taking stage a little bit late there. But now we're finally getting into the action with this pistol. Team Spirit, what's the buy going to look like? These are the odds, by the way. And on K23's map pick, you'd maybe expecting them to be slightly more favored than this, but it just shows you what favorites Team Spirit are coming into this semi. Pistol round going live, pretty standard setup for this Team Spirit side. Only Chopper with that defuse kit. Everybody else, it's Kevlar. Very minimal nades. Actually, for both teams, only Neelan holding a smoke double flash and sending all of that into the B bomb site with Team Spirit. They're very nicely set up to deal with this one. If a kill or two can be found upon short, this is going to eliminate the back end of this crank. And Sundar Young, missing those shots. The Glocks can creep closer. And there's K23 with a bunch of frags. The rotate's a little late. And Sundar Young's only able to find one in response.
I disbalance the man on mid that missed that initial triple swing. Has to try and get the work done with Chopper here. They're creeping through the door. I don't think they're expected to both be here. Nonetheless, they're now spotted out. I disbalance lands a fantastic headshot, finds a second as well. How on earth is he finding these kills? It leaves it all down to Norba in a 2-on-1. The Glock in hand, trying to connect it, and it's not going to happen. I disbalance finds himself 3 fantastic kills, and Chopper chiming in with 1. Somehow Team Spirit, against all odds, managed to convert that pistol round. Those were some incredible headshots from my disbalance there, especially that second one on the bench. Really clean stuff.
And that's what's so scary about Spirit. They can easily retake these bomb sites, hit all the headshots, come off on the front foot the majority of the time. And this is what I was scared of. If K23 gets shut down early, then perhaps this becomes a more one-sided series. Now the opportunity to bounce back with the rifles, the preliminary investment from K23. Just a couple of Galils picked up, that single AK on Norba. With Mo already, the scout in hand. That's a bit of a gappy smoke on short. It does give an opportunity for iDisbalance to watch on through. And of course, in a second round, having an AWP in hand is always a little bit funky. You do have to find 3 frags to even have the opportunity to pick that up this early. Obviously leaves him without utility, but I don't think he's going to be too worried about that one. I like this map control. Straight into window. This is going to create a crutch that K23 can use to actually break this A defense. And with the scout already watching and waiting. iDisbalance, what a shot. That was quite the flick onto Kioz.
That's actually a very nice flick to open things up. Neelan's got tons and tons of map control, but Sundar Young seemed very aware of it when he fell off. Magix isn't going to be relayed the info, though, and Neelan's able to find himself too. This completely opens up this B-bomb site, and now Team Spirit on a frantic rotate to try and get this one back in their hands. And I think K23 might just be able to convert this one. iDisbalance doesn't really want to be charging into the B-bomb site here with this AWP. If the FAMAS and the MP9 can't find some openers, I think this is almost certainly a save call for Team Spirit. It's looking like that's going to be the case right now. They don't even want to find anything. Instead, just go for the exits. And it's all fallen apart from them, despite them finding that opening man. Perfect aggression from Neelan. And the window boost works wonders for them.
Angle here to take away Chopper. Every little helps. Bit of damage dealt. 1-1. K23, nice backswing in this one. Now an opportunity to try and break the buy of Team Spirit. This is almost a guaranteed buy from the CTs. You can invest pretty much all of your money, get out a couple of extra pistols, just buy around this AK, well, this AWP, sorry, and this MP9, which has been saved. Doesn't give you the best of buys, but with iDisbalance on that sniper, we all know what he can do. Nice and aggressive towards mid. The nade, not really going to catch him on the offset. He does have support here from the MP9. He needs to backtrack after the missed shot. There's Kiosk there as the clamp. He doesn't find that shot. Still a stalemate with 90 seconds left.
Oh, Magix. Fantastic opening headshot. Needs to find more, and he's not able to do so. A 4 versus 4 now. A fair amount of damage dealt to K23. And it's most likely that Team Spirit will try and jam their way back into this one, especially with Mir finding one more onto Mo. That's going to be an upgrade as he takes that Galil to work with, but as Kiosk finds 2, that might just be all said and done. Team Spirit in another disadvantageous position. iDisbalance levels things up into a 2-on-2 further. I think they're actually going to try and push into this one, despite the fact that he's still got the AWP in hand and the pincers coming through.
Oh, the MAC-10 gone. It's all down to Chaos, and the lack of a defuse kit will probably be the saving grace for K23 here. The bomb is so far ticked anyway, and how does Balance get away with that one? Quick kill, and he even survives, so that AWP will be carried through once again. It's always a threat, Jay, when this AWP is in play. See that Team Spirit now taking a very early tactical pause just to discuss their options. Realistically, this is a really awkward scenario. You've got Balance on 8 kills already. Obviously, you want to put the AWP in his hands at every single opportunity. But every other person, what do they do here? I think this has to just be a full save. But then you've got the double-edged sword of Balance, maybe not getting an AWP in round number 5. I guess the loss bonus will be $2,400 as of that point, giving him $4,750 exactly, Jay. You know what that means. It would be a glass cannon if he's unable to save. So you've got a bit of a dilemma here. I like the fact that they take the tack.
Absolutely. They just go for this eco around it. Definitely the smart play. I actually really love how Kios played that last round as well. It's absolutely fantastic to find himself 3 and Balance out the equation straight off the bat. Mo's going to take that engagement on Pallet and find it. Chopper is able to retrieve the AWP, but his head's ripped clean off by Norba. And now they have a 3-man advantage as they push straight into this A-bomb site, and they're essentially just against this full eco. There'll be no contention here from Team Spirit. This will almost certainly be all 5s down alive for K23. Mir might be able to find himself a cheeky frag on anyone getting up close to CT. I highly doubt K23 give it to him. And this is actually a fantastic start from them, especially off the back of losing that pistol round. They've bounced back very well, and they've secured these rounds perfectly.
This is constant pressure applied after the pistol. Team Spirit, we talked about that good start, and you really couldn't characterize this as a good start whatsoever. Yeah, Mia, he might be able to punch him with a kill or so, a little bit of damage, but this is going to be a flawless round from K23. A trio of opportunities taken in a row. That buy is starting to build up here, and now let's see what Spirit go for. Of course, it's Balance with that aforementioned glass cannon. Everybody else with M4s here, Magics. I think there should be an MP9 perhaps for him, as he needs to pick up the lion's share of this utility here. It's a FAMAS instead. So 5 rifles, 4 premium rifles. But you've got the question mark of Balance with the glass cannon. Let's see what he can do with it. A lot of the time, he is so fast with that AWP that you cannot rattle off a shot anyway. So it's not as much of a disadvantage as it otherwise would be in your hands or mine. Down to 90 seconds. I like this control from Spirit. Obviously wanting to change the pace towards underpass. They've got a double stack towards this side of the map. And is K23 going to be prepared? Are they ready? It doesn't look like it. Chopper, instant frag. That's the bomb dropped. And now the retort. Kado with only the 1. Smoke goes down and away. This bomb is firmly under grasp for Team Spirit. And Sundar Young, I think he only needs the 1 kill towards underpass to really close out this round. He's already got all of the information. Lots of awkward map control here as Kios slams in an all-important headshot.
Oz has really been this spanner in the works for Team Spirit. Every time things are looking on the up for them, he's in a fantastic lurk position up behind the flanker. Completely shutting this one down. This time Team Spirit have got the man advantage, and with Balance finding 1 more, actually peeking for another. Deals tons of damage onto Mo. Can't quite convert the kill though.
It's so
Very
cheeky, isn't it? I love that angle, looking into the back of apps. And Balance, he obviously loves it as well. It deals 80 damage this time and pretty much ends the round.
He's really got nothing left into this one. There's 20 seconds here, and he actually really wants to either stay alive with this AWP or... Well, he doesn't want to die here. He actually wants to bring this AWP into the next round. I don't advise him peeking this. He could very easily get taken out just with 17 points of health. For now, though, Team Spirit are just going to keep their weapons. They know that they haven't got a lot of money behind them. They have to try and save what they've got. If they lose it, they'll struggle to reinvest. Going into round number 6 now. The drops will come through. I think Magix and Mir could probably throw some rifles over to Sundar Young and Chopper, and they'll actually get a full buyout here. Had one of them died, that wouldn't have been possible. So Smart call for them to just go for this save. However, it does allow Mo to bring this AWP into the next, which wouldn't have otherwise necessarily been possible unless they went for a glass cannon setup. And now, round number 6, Team Spirit trying to level out these numbers, bring it into a 3-3 scoreline. Mir going for that jump early on. He's actually been completely smoked off. I think he's got a gap over it. This is so beautiful for Team Spirit. Unfortunately for him, no one peeking over towards mid as of yet. That might just change in a second, though, but he's got to be wary of Kios in underpass, and that Molotov's going to slow him down for now.
I love this angle. It's one that Mia has been utilizing just for years here in the Counter-Strike circuit. Finds himself 2 frags this time. K23, what can you really do about this? You're already in a 5 versus 3 scenario. You're AWP already hitting the deck. This is a tragic way to start what should be a reset round for the Spirit economy. And this T side might actually fail to rack up a hell of a lot more if this money starts bolstering out of control for Spirit. Soon to be seen. Idis Balance still has the AWP at the ready. This time it's just the double stack towards B. Actually a bit of a slanted stack there. You see that the boost comes through just to give a little awkward angle for Magix, but doesn't work out. Nevertheless, it's traded up. Should be a pretty done deal here. 1v4, Norbert. Yes, he wants a little bit of damage. Savings a little out of the question with half a minute on the clock. He'll go down. Nice, very competitive, well, convincing round, I should say, for Team Spirit. 3-3.
Well, this play again from Mir. Absolutely perfect stuff. 4 players down alive as well, which means little reinvestment. But Mir is the absolute playmaker there. Finds himself those opening couple, and not just him finding those kills is superb, but actually the support from the window player too, because he does that jump, he has that one way over the smoke, it works out perfectly for him. But had those underpass players been allowed to push through, they certainly would have taken him out. But the window player's just there to throw that Molotov in, keep them at bay, lob a flashbang as well, just to delay for a few more seconds. It allows Mir to find those kills and then actually get away with murder, fall back to short and find himself one more on to the B apartment. So beautiful, beautiful stuff from Team Spirit to level things out 3-3. And for the first time this game, we're actually going to be seeing K23 on the eco. So an opportunity for Team Spirit to pull ahead here and try and snowball some more rounds on this CT side of Mirage.
I think the kind of goal here for Spirit is 8-10. For K23, I think they're looking for 6+ on this terrorist half. Shouldn't be another one right here or now. For its goal, to allow as little damage as possible. And realistically, with this configuration, they should be able to just cut these Glocks away. Yes, there's the danger zone of a deagle here and there, a little bit of initial investment, but nothing really paying dividends for K23. There's another opportunity to gain the bank. Team Spirit, just the one frag found. There's another little double stack towards underpass. Kado hasn't got the bomb in his grasp at all. It's literally as far away as it can possibly be here. He has salvaged an M4A4 for his troubles. If he can find any further damage here, but this is such an awkward angle from Idis Balance. Feels like Team Spirit have the envelope absolutely sealed there. 4-3.
Quite the shame that K23 left the bomb at spawn. I'm not sure how much difference that really would have made, though. Maybe the plant could have come through. Nonetheless, it's round number 8, and it's an opportunity for us to talk about our partners over at Hellcase. Make sure you're using Malta V15 for a 15% refill bonus if you do want to head over to Hellcase and check out their cases.
Quick dink, forcing Mo back into the open. It does feel like Team Spirit are starting to gain control of this CT side at this point. The money is building up. Obviously, a full buy in hand. These are opportunities where we'll see all of the utility come out for them. Pretty wholesome buy. There's K23. They're stuck in this eco cycle, Jay, where they go for one buy, one eco. One buy, maybe a half buy here and there. But never consecutive bull buys on this T side, which means that it's a lot harder to salvage this economy, to get it up into a buoyant state. Right now, they're just trying to take mid control. might actually collapse towards the B bomb site with a smoke place. This is going to delay matters further.
Angle from Neelan. If they can actually push through here and take some more control, then they've definitely got an opportunity. Instead, they've just got the sight lines onto it. Neelan's going to drop down into short, and that smoke's going to keep them at bay for a few seconds longer. K23 need to make a decision here. Do they wait out these smokes and try and aggress onto this site in the dying moments of the round? Or do they actually flash through them? It's looking like they're going for the former, but this could be very dangerous. Kios again on this lurk. If this works out for him, it could completely turn the tides. He's been fantastic in this position so many times, but this time Young denies it. I disbalance for the first time in a while. Is going to miss a shot, and actually his teammate falls because of it. He is able to convert himself one, but as the kills come through elsewhere, he's in a 2 versus 3. He needs to connect this shot and can't find it. The bomb's not going to be denied. Chopper is able to find himself a kill nonetheless, and I Disbalance finally comes through with a headshot. It leaves it all down to Mo in this 2-on-1. The jump spot's coming through. Mo can't connect it. His position's now known, and he's on borrowed time. Back against the wall. Needs to find one of these frags, and it's not going to happen. I Disbalance converts his third of the round. It was looking a little bit shaky there, but nonetheless, he did perfectly to actually stay alive, get himself behind that bench, and allow Chopper to come in and support him. Team Spirit managed to tip that round over the edge, but it was very, very close.
That is so insane from I Disbalance. How the hell does he stay alive for that long on the B bomb site? Usually with an AWP, you get completely overwhelmed, overran, you're instantly dead. But he somehow just like kind of turns into a ghost, floats around the B bomb site, not being spotted, finding another 2 kills out of nowhere. Absolute madness there for I Disbalance. 5-3. And this assertive lead from Team Spirit continues. It does feel like they're starting to amass these CT rounds. Of course, K23, they were 3-1 up. So this is a 4-round tear for Spirit with lots of contention, lots of contest, a couple of bomb plants. But it feels like Spirit are in control of this semi-final right now. A little too early to tell, albeit. And now with the pistols, let's see if the favorable rifles can actually cut them apart once more. That's a nice headshot.
Be able to retrieve the rifle, but not allowed to live with it for all too long as Young takes him out. I Disbalance, an uncharacteristic miss. Nonetheless, Chopper comes through and trades it. These Deagles actually getting a fair amount of damage done. But now the rifles are here to support. There's no way they get out and include anything onto this A-bomb site. Norba is able to find himself one more with that Tech 9. But nonetheless, the AWPs retained. Team Spirit put their 6th on the board. And K23, they are going to go for another buy here. Of course, that max loss bonus means that they can invest into their what would be eco rounds. It means they can force up, maybe have a Galil, a couple of Mac 10s here and there, and still have money to go into these. But the issue is you don't really want that. You want to actually be winning the rounds and make sure you aren't just relying on that loss bonus. And this is one of those swing rounds where potentially they could win it, close this gap and still have a close half, or it could go the other way and Team Spirit could just snatch away this map pick of Mirage. Tons of damage done there from Mir as well to kick things off.
This is where K23 have to be assertive. They need to find those opening picks. They need to assert their dominance on this T side. I think once Spirit flip over to their terrorist half, when they can control the pace, this is where things start to get really scary for K23. We know that Spirit have a fairly flawless CT side at the best of times, even on a map like this. But this isn't even going to be close unless K23 find a couple of rounds right here, right now. And backtracking towards the A-bomb site, which seems to be the more untested defense, might be the way to go. You have to count all of your chickens. And with a little bit of mid-control, this could once again be the pincer. Let's see if Choppy's ready for it. He's just waiting on that responsive smoke. Instantly goes down and only takes 1 bullet worth of damage. Deals a lot more through that smoke. Neelan eliminated. There goes the bomb in an awkward scenario. Nice Molotov. But Spirit still have all of the building blocks of a defense to crush this A-side attack. There's another frag from Chopper. This is getting railed down. Very disjointed stuff from K23. Complete dominance on the A-bomb site.
Sometimes Young shouldn't be able to get that kill and actually get back there without being traded. It means that it's a freebie for Chopper to swing out and find, and Team Spirit are going to convert that final kill and take the round with relative ease. I really like this from Chopper, that responsive smoke coming down. He just sprays through it, finishes off that tagged up player, and it means that the bomb's out in the open as well, so makes it very difficult for K23 to recover that one, especially with only 30 seconds left on the clock. Another near flawless round from Team Spirit. And as we go into round number 11, K23, a very minimal investment from them again, and an opportunity for a Team Spirit to extend this gap further.
Midas Balance is given a lot of space upon mid, and well, that's a leg. No frag gives away the AWP, but there's the response. Mia, he perfectly steps up to the task. It's an instant decimation once again from Team Spirit. Up to 8 here in K23. I want them to take a tactical timeout. This would be a great opportunity just to discuss your options on this terrorist half. I think if you don't take the tack, lose a couple more, this could resort to double digits, 10-3, 11-3, maybe even that dreaded 12-3 start for Spirit. I just don't think that you're really favored to do all too much in the second half at all. Look at this angle from Midas Balance once again. Quickly negotiates his way over to short, slips and slides, an easy shot to find.
That run boost can sometimes work when the player's playing from window, but Midas Balance, he's such a dynamic AWPer. He's gone for that fast jump, and they certainly don't expect him to be peeking from short. What a flick as well to hit onto Norba. In the meantime, Magix is able to find one of his own. And now it's a 5-on-2 so quickly. K23 just have no equity whatsoever in this round. And this is all just falling apart for them.
And that's the issue when you've even got the smallest of gaps in that mid-smoke. Mo spotted, Norba and Cade also drop. And with a minute left, K23 are caught scratching their heads once again. Caught towards the middle of the map. Team Spirit still have all of their defensive members still alive. And this double AWP setup still rolling. I'm counting, Jay, and I feel like Midas Balance has only missed 3 shots all game. Realistically, they haven't really been too costly, considering he's been hitting the follow-ups. Defense looks, well, pretty much flawless here. When you put it into context, K23 only took those initial 3 rounds after the pistol loss. I guess once you win that second round, you're then expected to take the next 2. Those are these shots from Midas Balance once again. You see that mistake in the form of the mid-smoke, and it's firmly punished, spanked away. And here comes the tag.
Not a bad time for it. I commend K23 to take this break and discuss what's going wrong here. As you say, though, Midas Balance has been incredibly consistent. He's currently sitting 15-3. I knew that he'd have a huge impact, but I didn't realize he'd have an impact as huge as this. Absolutely on fire, and something that's actually just clocked in my head, which is just a bit of a interesting fact, is actually the fact that this AWP that's been bought, this same AWP that Midas Balance is holding right now, is the AWP that was brought up in round number 4. He's been going, and even when he's died, it's been picked up by a teammate, and they haven't actually had to reinvest that single AWP since round number 4 when it was bought. So that really just shows the dominance that Team Spirit are showing right now after taking that early 3-round loss.
Jay, I feel like this AWP hasn't died since round 2. I feel like he's obviously died, but wasn't it retrieved in every scenario? Hasn't he just not had to reinvest since round 2?
Did he get the AWP in round 2?
Yes, he got the early AWP.
Oh, of course, yeah, it was. Yeah, round 2. Yeah, you're right.
That is absolutely just flawless. I want to trace this AWP from now on and just see how long it survives. I can't remember one AWP investment surviving the whole of the half since round 2 to round 15. So I'm pretty sure somebody should be like phoning up Guinness Book of World Records at that point for the oldest AWP in the world. I think the oldest person in the world, Jay, is like 126 years old, and this AWP is contending for that title.
One, get him on the phone. Only 2 rounds needed to make it work. Team Spirit firmly in the lead right now. Mir converts himself another headshot, looking for a second here, and if he was able to do so, then that might just secure the round. Instead, he falls, and it's Sundai Young alone on the site to try and hold it up. He is going to get taken down, but look at this HP. Kiel's on 5, Nilan on only 1 single point of health. Despite them having the man advantage here, I still favour Team Spirit's chances, but with Chopper falling, Disbalance has got a hell of a task on his hands. Obviously, all 3 players are low, but he's got this AWP. Really not the favourable weapon coming into this one. I'd like to see him swap out to a rifle, but I also... Well, actually, they've got so much money. There's no really real need for him to save here. I don't think he's got time on this bomb, though. Just go for the exits. That's looking like that's what's going to be the case. He might be able to find 1, possibly even 2 here. Ooh, very nice flick to find the second, making that one costly for K23.
That's just stat padding at this point. Disbalance probably could have went for this, but more importantly, Jay, this AWP survives again. I think it's 13 rounds old as of this point. I'm gonna keep tabs on it. 17-3 for Disbalance. He's on an absolute tear here on Mirage, completely crushing K23. Certainly not been, well, a problem maker for Spirit whatsoever. He's just been the Grim Reaper of these semi-finals, completely tearing his way through the pace here on Mirage. And this is a map where the AWPer can have a lot of effect. You know, that there are those very long choke points that the AWP can hold. We've seen Disbalance take a majority of them, being short, mid, ticket booth. AWP also being effective on the B bomb site. What I really do like about this defense as well is Disbalance has been mixing and matching up his positions. So if K23 went to the drawing board and said, right, our goal here is to avoid Disbalance. We don't want to walk into that AWP whatsoever. They're rolling the dice as to which site they're going towards, and he's had a pretty solid read from start to finish. That 13th round right there being one of the few opportunities where they don't get met with his aggression, actually trying to push the bomb site. So a short technical pause even, before we get back into the action for the last 2 rounds of this half.
Something I talk about quite often, something that separates a CT AWPer, where you have a style like Disbalance, where you're super dynamic, and it makes it very, very difficult for the T side to deal with you, because as you say, where do you peek from? If you know that the AWPer is just going to be holding window every single round, you can smoke it off, you can take control off of it, and you know that he's going to take a really defensive angle, maybe fall right back to CT and play for the post plant, and instead he's actually dancing all around the map. He's peeking from short sometimes, he's peeking from window sometimes. Sometimes he'll actually go for a cheeky pick over towards A. Sometimes it's the B side. You have absolutely no idea where he's going to be, and it means that you can't take control and actually get a little bit aggressive anywhere at any point. Because if you do so, you face the prospect of actually Disbalance being up close, and he'll shut you down. So K23, you're absolutely right. They've got a difficult task here, just to deal with this single player who's sitting 17-3. He's absolutely unstoppable. He's really leading the charge for Team Spirit right now. And I love to see it. It's quite boring to watch AWPers that play this kind of cannon style, where they'll just sit on CT, they'll post up on that angle. They actually don't tend to move all too much. And it is a playstyle that you can go for, and on some maps it's very viable. But here on Mirage, this real dynamic setup works very, very well. And with Disbalance, for most of these rounds being this lone AWPer, it's been working out perfectly.
Absolutely so. Another opportunity to buy for Team Spirit, pretty much until the half ends as of this point, just with the bank built up to almost a maximum. I'll have excess cash, maybe to splash on a pool party. K23, no parties to be found on their side. Only 4 rounds on this terrorist half. They need a couple more before this one comes to a close. And realistically, I think they do need the 6 rounds, maybe even a pistol as well on their CT side. So difficult to actually make a comeback like this when you are against a favorite team like Spirit. Funnily enough, a technical issue before we get back into things. I think, well, was it Sundai Young who actually dropped out for a couple of moments, but back into the action, and let's hope we get into this 14th round sooner rather than later. And actually, yeah, both teams having a little bit of a qualm here in the tech. Even the even the semi-finals can't stop the power of the technical pauses.
Trying to work out who's DC'd here.
That's like the hardest thing to do in the world. Like, even when you know all 10 players on the server, it's incredibly difficult just to spot out who it is. It's oh no, it's not Neelan. I was gonna say it's Kato. I got that myself, Jay. Wasn't that impressive?
Very, very impressive. I'm very proud of you, Squid. Very, very good. Hopefully shouldn't take too long, though, but that's always the issue you're going to have with everybody staying at home at the moment, playing on their own setups. You have no real control over tech issues like this. Everyone's on their own internet, on their own setups, in their own parts of the world. Hopefully this pause shouldn't take too long for Kato to get back into the server and be up and running again. Don't really want to be plagued with things like this, especially being on the back foot on your own map pick. Sure that you're playing at your best, all players are firing on all cylinders, and you can pull this one back. As we talked about before, if K23 can't take this Mirage map, it's going to be very difficult for them to find any equity in this series and actually get their footing going into that second map.
You know, a little observation that I don't think has ever been pointed out is I've played like quite a lot of Counter-Strike, maybe like 6,000 to 7,000 hours. I can't remember how many technical issues I've ever had where like my keyboard breaks or my monitor breaks. I swear in professional matches it happens a lot more frequently.
Apps. I mean, when you look at my Counter-Strike career, kicking things off with my laptop with 30 FPS, I certainly had some tech issues. Going through various SAIDs headsets that would die on me mid-game. I had my fair share, but
these are professional players,
recent years,
Jay.
Yeah, 100%.
They've got like the best setups ever.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean. In the recent couple of years, where I've had my better gear, I haven't had any tech issues either, really. I suppose internet's always one that can be quite temperamental for many people.
Yeah, that can definitely crop up, especially if you do live in the middle of nowhere. I know like some parts of the UK, let's say that you live in the countryside, sometimes that can be a bit of an issue. But either way, just put a big satellite dish on your house, get Bill Gates to come and personally tinker with your setup. He does charity work. I bet he'd do it. You just gave him a call.
Or crying your eyes out because you've been kicked from a CSGO game for your ping being too high. You say, please, Mr. Gates, please come and make my internet better.
I wonder if Bill Gates knows what CSGO is. I think we've got 4,000 people here right now. I bet if 4,000 people tweeted at Bill Gates asking, do you know what CSGO is? I bet we would get an answer.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
He's got to know. He's like the king of Microsoft. Of course he knows what Counter-Strike is.
He must know. He must know. Especially if he has deep involvement with like Xbox and all of that stuff, then yeah, he must know.
That's somebody else. It's musical chairs here on the server. And I think that must mean that they are changing servers at this point. That's my little prediction here, Jay. I feel like it might be a slight issue with the server. They might just dart, dodge, duck, carry on, swap it out. What do you think?
That very much sounded like the 5Ds of dodgeball there, Squid. You got very close.
Is it those? I don't know the 5Ds of dodgeball. I don't think I've played dodgeball a couple of times, of course, but not a lot. Not when I was a kid, I would have played dodgeball.
We don't really have it all too much in this country. I think it's a real American thing. All the bullies
I play tennis sometimes. Sometimes I cycle, but dodgeball isn't kind of like my big thing. Either way, I guess we should probably go to a short break while they configure the quick server issues. I'm sure that we'll be getting into this one nice and shortly, but don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a few moments.
Nice shot. Lock and load.
Wow, very good. Let me show you how it is done. Yeah, no. Woo, damn! That was one of the best nickel fights I've been to.
Hello, welcome back, everybody. We are live into this semi-final once again. K23 versus Spirit. Spirit, a nice assertive lead on that CT side. They're ahead 9-4 before we get into the penultimate round of the action. K23 definitely on a bit of a back foot here. Their money is certainly on the rocks. See Neelan not even able to invest in utility. Kato only the single flashbang, whereas Spirit can pretty much buy up until the end right here. Nice, quick setup for Norba, and that flashbang is flawless. He's gone.
Such a nice bit of initiative there for Chopper to spot out that head and say, right, call that flash over. Sundar Young throws a perfect flashbang, and he can just swing out and finish him off. Another kill coming through for him as well onto Mo. Really just thins out the numbers of this K23 side. Now it's a 5 versus 3 very, very quickly. This bomb is headed over towards this B site. They've got an opportunity to get onto it if they can find Magics behind the bench. Keel's coming up from short as well. Makes that task potentially easier, but with Mir behind him, just needs to get the timing correct. He's actually walking the wrong way. Keels is going to get taken down nonetheless, and this has all fallen apart for K23. Kado can't even find himself one. Magix has gone absolutely huge there, finding himself those 2 frags that were needed. Can't quite take the AK as a prize for it, but nonetheless, 10-4 sit Team Spirit as we go into the final round of the half. And technically, that AWP's still floating for Idis balance, isn't it? I suppose it's not the same one because we switched server, but I mean, he hasn't had to reinvest one since round 2.
It's the same, Jay. We reset. Ebot made sure that it was exactly the same AWP with the same identifier, and he's still going despite being tagged with that scout. This AWP will be in play from round number 2 to round number 15 without dropping once. It's the same AWP since the very start, and I don't think I've ever seen that in a half of Counter-Strike, where you pick up an early AWP and you keep it through to the end of the whole half. That just shows how dominant he's been thus far, and perhaps they'll try and challenge him once again. If he goes down here, we've got to get the violins out. The AK finding all of the action towards the middle of the map. K23 are forced to engage elsewhere. That's towards ramp in this A-bomb site, where there's already a triple defense posted. And one of these defenders is the man with the golden gun, the man with the plan. The big eye disbalance himself. And as that smoke dissipates, he's going to be challenged for one final time. I'm going to be heartbroken if he dies here. And with Norber already sneaking his way through, the Molotov actually giving away the angle. Now, Idisbalance does have to be careful over by the ticket, but a flash high in the sky means he has to dodge. And realistically, oh, he does have this back angle. There's the tag, no frag. There's the HE over the top. Heavy damage dealt. I don't think that will stretch into him. Idisbalance actually does die. And here's K23 with an opportunity here to close the half strong. And it's not going to happen. Team Spirit up to 11. Pretty much a flawless CT side considering they went 3-1 down early. And I'm heartbroken. Somebody get the violin out. Idisbalance loses his ult for the first time in the whole half. That's cut Guinness Book of World Records off. Don't ring them.
Oh, incredible nonetheless. 19-4 Idisbalance sits after that first half. That is a really, really standout performance. Actually, everyone on Team Spirit playing very, very well. Here are the odds over from our partners at LootBet, and yeah, I mean, that reflects what we've seen so far. K23 really not favoured in this one, despite the fact that this is their map pick as well. This has got to be really rough from them, and I think that actually they very much rely on this pistol round now. It's a lifeline. If they can convert it, they might be able to pull the gap back. If they can't convert this pistol round, I think this would just be all over. Team Spirit would be able to take the map, and they'd have a very, very good chance to close out the series in a 2-0 fashion.
I think that's kind of what we're expecting right now for Spirit. If they do take their foot off the gas for even 10 minutes or so, they still have an opportunity to close out Mirage. And on this T side, you see nades galore for Spirit, double smoke, double flash, and quite a few P250s actually. I think that's, yeah, 2 P250s, sending them both towards this A bomb site here. There's the Glock to try and open things up, and it gives Magix enough space to rip Norber's head off. That's one prong of the defense gone, and the wall bangs even nailing Kios. He has to be scared right now. Where is he being shot from? That's the big question mark, and wants to get right out of dodge into a more defensive stance. And with Team Spirit still clamping inside, this block's going to do double damage perhaps. And Elam finds at least one. That levels back up the numbers. Primed him ready for the P250 to find another and another. It's Idisbalance. What a headshot. Long range. Neelan is history. And maybe this map goes down with him. 11-4, maybe about to be 12 here, as the single prong of the B defense has to stand up strong. It's Kado versus the world.
Well, I raised my eyebrows when Chopper opted to take nothing for himself and instead dropped the P250s to his teammates. Seems to be working out for them very well so far, though. A fantastic headshot from Idisbalance on mid gives them some leg room to work with as they creep up B right now. If they can take out Kado, this will surely be all over in the pistol. Kado whiffs a very, very important shot. He comes through nonetheless, looking for the second as well. Deals tons of damage, but as he falls, Kios has to pick up the pieces, and it's not going to happen. Magix is the one to clean it up, finding his third of the round. Someone who we didn't see all too much of in the first half. Really comes through on the pistol and secures it for Team Spirit. They now sit 12-4, and they look to extend this one further. No real surprise that K23 are going for this force up. They have to at this point. They haven't got the rounds to play with to allow Team Spirit to come any closer to that magic number 16. And this is such a dominant performance so far that we're seeing.
A stunning semi-final. A first map firmly going Spirit's way. Idisbalance being the first man out of mid. Nice smoke just to gain his control behind those double boxes, and already the kills coming through. The Deagles now need to do exceptionally high amounts of damage. And with the single crossfire towards mid being absolutely everything, there's Idisbalance instantly eliminated. Nice Molotov is going to force Kios into the open, but no retort or return from Team Spirit. As they take their approach towards short, there goes the initial smokes as well. Connector completely rendered useless to negate this attack. Kios does have a bit of an angle here, but with Spirit already taking assertive map control, they're about to crunch onto this B bomb site with the two players coming in from Palace. It's that double defense of Magix and Sumdai Young. about to apply the pressure with those 2 premium rifles, the AKs, of course. I just don't know what K23 can do about this. The scout is going to have to connect with multiple shots, and considering Mo, he's only on 5 frags this map, really slow burner to get things started, and that smoke pretty much just counts his position totally useless. The Deagle has to do all in his lonesome. Headshot after headshot. Nealon needs a 3rd massive damage. Chopper almost gone, and there's no support from short. Mia gets tagged, and this might be the round going K23's way. Chopper finally gone. Norbra, a massive round there, and just the triple kill from Nealon from behind. Able to nail 3 fast frags.
Really, really incredible from Nealon, keeping K23 afloat in this one. Still needs 7 consecutive rounds to tie this one back up. But denying their opponents 13 and denying your team going on to little to no cash is a good start to it. Right now, Team Spirit, they have gone for the full investment. That full investment is just the Deagles and the Scout on Idis balance. And Mo winning the mid-engagement so far. Of course, without these AWPs, it only tags you down to 30 HP. Magix. Ooh, tries to go for the shot through that smoke. Not going to be able to connect it. Keeps things in a 5-on-5 with 1:26 on the clock. And it's looking like Team Spirit are grouping up over towards this A site. This is where they want to try and get this bomb down. But with only 1 flashbang behind them, they need to rely on the headshots here.
This defensive trio looks very nicely set up to actually eviscerate this setup. That's a lovely nade coming through. And the shots connect to it. Mo this time starting to step up on this counter-terrorist half. Finding 2 quick kills. And through that smoke, Sumner Young's also going to get popped. Good little damage dealt from Spirit. But this round wasn't necessarily about the damage. This was a full force. They wanted to end the game early, and with 40 seconds left, I cannot for a second imagine that Chopper's able to pull back this 1 versus 4. Now, of course, a 1 versus 3. This Kios is fairly low. I guess if that Deagle finds 1 body shot up close and personal, he could go down, but realistically, this has to be 3-1 Deags, and the Scout might be the first target. Already spotted, but no frag found. There's the M4 to chip through. Nice crossfire from K23, and they're up to 6.
I think Team Spirit just go for a full eco here as well. Gives K23 an opportunity to put themselves onto 7. More importantly, actually, keep some of these weapons alive and get some cash behind you. If, for example, Team Spirit had gone for a buy this round and they do convert it, K23 are in a position that isn't desirable whatsoever, as Mo would be on no cash, Nealon would be in the same boat. This round gives them a chance to rack up some kills with that SMG, put some money behind you in the bank. Put you in a favourable chance to take this one over the edge. All the players actually stacked up over towards middle. I'm not sure what their plan is here. They're kind of going for an A split. Chopper's getting quite close to Palaso with this bomb. And if he falls, that's all over. The round is... there's nothing there. Currently, they just want to go for a bomb plant here. They might be allowed it, but they walked into a pretty stacked site, and Kios is going to open things up. I actually don't see any chance of Team Spirit making this one work. That pincer was the only real opportunity they had here.
This looks to be a fairly uneventful round here. The bomb stuck in Palace. With K23, very assertive positions upon this A bomb site. Should be all said and done here. I want to quickly dig into the statistics for K23 on this particular map. If you look at the last 5 that they've played, they've won all 5 of them. It was mostly on this terrorist side, though, where they took almost 70% of the rounds. That is a really just massive advantage. Unfortunately, against Spirit, they weren't able to have nearly the same success. So now they come on to their less favorable counter-terrorist half. This surely is where Team Spirit should be able to close this one through, close it out. And let's see if the initial pistols are going to do any damage here. There's a nice little collapse. Might even be prone for 2 shots. It does get shut down. The gap now 5 rounds for K23. the opportunity for a comeback still open, and they certainly need it if they're going to have a chance in this semi-final.
Absolutely. K23, this is their home turf. They have such huge success on this map, and for them to be losing as badly as they are may just be a crystal ball into what's to come. Team Spirit still sit firmly in the lead by 5. They do have to face up against the AWP of Mo here. He's gone for the fast short jump. No one going to contest him as of yet, though. Actually, Team Spirit just spread around the map on this default. The bomb's been left in the spawn. They just try and prod at the CTs. Try and catch out some kind of aggression, see if they've got anything to work with early on. K23 are somewhat giving it to them on mid. That's the one place that Team Spirit aren't really contesting. As the bomb's retrieved, it's looking like Team Spirit are actually falling back, starting to reconvene, possibly headed over towards A here. And that would be a smart call to go for. Oh, instead it's the other way around.
Smoke's down and away. Mo is going to be the first point of contact for the counter-terrorists, and a massive gap allows him the first frag. Mia retorts and responds. That's Kio's traded, but in the 4 versus 4, there's still plenty of time on the board for Spirit to execute onto. Perhaps it's a bomb site with the pincer towards the ramp area. Sandwich position. Very easy to flush this CT out and away. And with only the double defense upon A, what can K23 do here? They need to rotate and wrap in fast. And with Spirit giving away almost no information, Mo, a nice shot. That's the bomb gone towards mid. And he can try and hold this up for perhaps one more. How are they going to get back here? The nade, he isn't forced out of position, but does miss the shot. There's Neelan with another. And now K23, they need to find all of these shots here. The MP9 prodding from the back. Neelan under heavy pressure and fire. And there's the double spray away. An 8th on the board for K23. And Team Spirit walk into the blender.
Very nice stuff from K23 there. Spirit, they came through with some fantastic headshots, but it just wasn't enough. K23 managed to keep themselves on the line there and hit that one just over the edge. Made a couple of key mistakes. Leaving that big gap in the smoke on mid allows K23 to find that opening kill. They just capitalize on it. Mo again dealing tons of damage with that leg, and he's able to fall back and get away with his life here.
Remember, this is just pistols. With lots of time on the board, K23 are going to assertively shut down the group of Tech 9s. Lovely jubbly. Only finding the one in response means this economy is going to find itself in a buoyant place at this point. How does Spirit respond in round number 22 when they do have rifles in hand? I like the mid control. It feels like K23 have just been playing this 3-2 setup on sites, wrapping around. Let's see if K23 are going to continue turning back the tide. This wouldn't be the biggest comeback in Counter-Strike history. They're only now 3 behind. Itis balance, AWP back in hand. He's had a slow start in the second half. I think they need to rely on this AWP to crack open one of these bomb sites. And what has he been doing? This time just looking towards the ramp area. And K23 not exposing with anything. The Molotovs go through. Nice counter flashes to force him off of the initial angle. Right now, Neelan, yes, he's stuck in a difficult spot, but Mia finds it. That's the first, and Itis balance closes another one. 12-9, and Spirit might be about to find a 13th. It's a 5 versus 3. Double defense again on the A bomb site with a little bit of map control taken as of ramp. A23 now want to prompt this aggression. Take a little bit of map control, but Spirit, they're waiting for it. They've already got Chopper in the back of apps. If Cade gets a little overzealous here, then there's every opportunity he goes down. And Itis balance is watching for the A prod as well. They know exactly what's going on.
This is such a fantastic read from Team Spirit. K23 have done very well to pull back a few rounds here and keep this one in contention. But if Team Spirit can tip this round through, And this might just be the start of the end for K23. The Molotov going to hit Kado straight in the head. That's almost certainly going to give away his position. Jobber doesn't want anything to do with it, though. He's actually going to rotate through underpass, and they're going to try their luck over towards A, where they'll actually be allowed it for free. They have to be wary of Norba's aggressive stance, and by the fact that iDisbalance was actually watching the flank on T-spawn, I think they almost certainly will. 5 versus 3 now, as they're all stacked up in connector. Now they start to push onto this A site. The retake starts to come through.
This looks like a pretty said and done opportunity. The only difference maker, the only round changer, could potentially be Norba hidden inside the palace. Nevertheless, Kios needs to find probably both of these cracking shots. Magic's being the first, and it's a first bullet headshot to take him clean out of the server. Yes, K23 do actually have the money, but do they realistically want to throw all of this cash down the toilet? iDisbalance is watching towards Palace here. He's got this angle lock and key, and Norba seems to know it. Doesn't want to check out towards the A bomb site. Instead, potentially find a kill or so, but I think that Team Spirit are going to be on quite the aggressive hunt here. Even with the smoke placed, they might just trail on through. Remember, their money's not too high either, so yeah, difficult, dangerous scenario. 13-9, and 4 of those T's do survive. So a nice little bank built up now. That'll apply even further pressure.
The reinvestment having to come through for K23 here. Certainly be problematic for them. No one left with money after this round except Kado. And it means that if Team Spirit convert it, they put themselves onto 14. They're then faced against whatever K23 can pull out. Get themselves onto match point. At that point, K23 might even just eco and play for the overtime. Be surprised if they do, though. Either way, Team Spirit have to get the job done here. They're against another buy. Even Stevens across the board when it comes to firepower. 4 rifles, utility, and an AWP on each side, and Kios so close to this smoke. It all comes down to who sees who first, and it's Mir to spot Kios. The head ripped clean off, and Norba needs to go big. It's not going to happen. Mo, the last defender on this A site, he's got the AWP in hand. He's able to find 1. If he can stay alive here and allow the rotation to come through, then it would be huge. 2 kills might just do the trick as well, but as it gets traded out, Nilan and Kado are the only 2 players that can make this one work on this retake, and Chopper's in a fantastic position to cut him off.
Absolutely no idea where Chopper is. Great headshot found. And Kado versus 3 to try and defuse this bomb. It's just never happening. Not in a million years, Jay. Especially with iDisbalance tucked inside the ramp area. Such a ballsy peek from him to eliminate the threat that Mo actually poised. And well, with that bomb being tapped, he needs to find both of these kills, and it's just not happening. 14-9, Team Spirit. They do it again. Pushes 1 closer to map point.
Well, K23, I'd actually quite like to see a timeout from them here to discuss what they're going to do. If it ticks away, it's not looking like that's going to be the case. Kado actually drops an M4 to Nilan. Does that mean... Okay, this is interesting. He's going to drop an M4. They all stay around this 2k mark to make sure that they can buy into the next. This is somewhat of an eco. It's actually a full eco on 3 of these players, but 2 have got the weapons to work with. And oh my goodness, if Nilan could have found both there, he might have been able to do the trick. Unfortunately, he falls. The M4's in no man's land. Now a 4v4.
K23 were looking so strong. They had that money fully built up, but Spirit being a constant threat, able to find 2 in a row, and well, this is going to be their 3rd against the Pistols. Only Kado left. Yes, he has all of the information towards the apartments, but he's been totally predicted. And there's iDisbalance to take him out. 6 map points here for Spirit. 6 opportunities to close on K23's pick, and we go to Dust 2 next, which seems to be a home turf, deadly territory for Team Spirit, where I could only imagine that iDisbalance would have a massive map once again. The sad thing for K23 is these are all very AWP heavy affairs. Train, obviously known for the double AWP setup. right here an opportunity to close it out early against the rifle setup of K23. It's Ida's balance to crack it open once again.
He's been so good at finding these opening picks. We haven't been calling out his name as much on this T side, but still having an incredible impact. That AWP being in the window for Mo. No one's going to be able to retrieve that for now, as it's being closely watched by Team Spirit. Man advantage as well. They start to group up over towards this B site. They execute right now. It's going to be Kado, the lone man, to try and hold it up. And if he falls, this game almost certainly goes in the favor of Team Spirit. Dancing around, might actually go for this pick, but as he gets flashed off the angle, he's forced right back to the corner. He needs to swing out and go big here. Finds himself one, looking for the second as well. The rotations have already come through, though. It's Neelan to help him out. This Molotov's going to make matters harder, but he finds himself another nonetheless. Idis Balance lands a fantastic flick, leveling out the numbers. But with 40 seconds on the clock, the retake needs to come through. Sundai Young finding himself another, and it leaves Kios just in this 2 versus 1. He has to get this done for his team, and he's gonna fall. Team Spirit tip it over the edge. 16-9 they take it in the first map of the semi-finals, and what a fantastic performance from them.
Definitely looking like a championship level team here in the Eden Arena Malta vibes. I just don't see any way that they're getting stopped thus far in this series. K23 just couldn't pose much of a threat. And albeit looked like a very one-sided affair. Spirit could have closed that out even earlier after such a dominant first half, considering K23 at one point was 3-1 up. Spirit closing it out 16-9. Just really impressive stuff. Took them a little bit of a while on that T side to just get fired up and get started, but it never really looked in contention. We've got Dust 2 coming next, which is one of the home maps for Team Spirit. They don't care that K23 are kind of comfortable on Dust 2 as well. They're just going to go into it, head held high, knowing that they're the better team, firing on all cylinders, and they've got that X factor of Idis Balance as well, who's seemingly hitting everything thus far today. And I'm sure as the series continues, we'll be looking at his statistics because they were sensational. I think he found 27, 28 kills in that one map. And how do you stop a man who's just killing everybody? I just don't think that that's even possible. Either way, we've got Dust 2 coming next. It's Team Spirit's home map, and they're one map away from these grand finals, which, if you've got nothing planned for this evening, comes right after this series. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Nice shot. Lock and load.
Wow, very good. Let me show you how it is done. Yeah, no. Woo, damn! fights I've been to.
Hello and welcome back, everybody. It's semi-finals time once again as we break into map 2 of this series between Spirit and K23. A very dominant performance just a few moments ago from Spirit. Just a massive first half on their CT side and closing it out with ease 16-9. And now things don't get much better, Jay, for K23. We're going on to Dust 2. It's one of Spirit's home maps. And they almost look to be solid locks for this grand final as they pencil their names in to play Espada in just about an hour's time. I'm excited. What do you think about this one, Jay?
I'm very excited too. This could potentially be the last map of our semi-finals. And you touched upon it in that Mirage game that actually Team Spirit are taking K23 to a map that they're relatively comfortable with on their own pick. But I don't think they'll care about that at this point. They've just taken K23's best map, and that is their absolute best map of Mirage, 16-9. I think they could have done it with an even bigger gap as well. Had they not have given up a few rounds in the middle, we could have maybe even seen a 16-6, 16-7 kind of scoreline. Either way, it was a very, very dominant performance. They were in the driving seat for the entirety of that game. And as we go on to Dust 2, I very much fancy their chances. And I think the odds will probably reflect that as well. They are just looking on fire. And as long as Balance continues to fire on all cylinders, then I think they'll just be an unstoppable force.
Yeah, when you actually break down the statistics for Spirit, it's a map that they pick against pretty much all of the best in the world. We played Clutch Island fairly recently. I guess not even really that recently. That was almost 2 months ago at this point. But with double wins against Virtus Pro, 2 wins against Lamiga as well, those being 16-2 and 16-4. When you're posting those sort of score lines on a map like Dust 2 consistently, you're pretty much never going to lose it. Albeit, they have lost Dust 2 thus far in this tournament to Forza, in fact. That got taken to overtime. It was 19-17. They lost it. And another overtime against Selector. Enough of the chit-chat, enough of the numbers, because I know what you boys are here for. You're here for Counter-Strike, and we're about to provide it. The second map of this semi-final about to go live as we break and bust our way into the knife round to select these sides, Jay.
Percentage is against teams like Virtus Pro, like Heroic. They played OG on it as well, and that one came incredibly close. And they're these tier 1 teams that we're seeing them face up against in Pro League and Clutch Island and DreamHack and things like that. And K23 just aren't playing against that caliber of side at the moment, and it means that they are certainly the underdogs coming into this one. Being a map behind as well, their backs are really against the wall. They absolutely have to convert this one or they will be going home from this tournament. Now, here are the odds from our partners over at LootBet, and they agree with pretty much what we're saying here. Team Spirit, the high favourites going into this one. K23, there's still a definite possibility. They're still a very strong side, and they're pretty comfortable with us 2 as well. But Team Spirit, certainly the favourites.
Yeah, when you look at the Team Spirit, the actual numbers on this specific map, it looks a little underwhelming considering they're only just squeaking above a 50% win rate on this particular turf. But when you consider that they're picking it in a lot of their series against some of the best in the world, definitely puts K23 on the back foot considering they're already a map down. Magix does miss that first shot towards long, but K23 are miles away from this bomb site. Yes, they do have a P250 in hand, but Neelan has to connect with all of these headshots. Otherwise, these Glocks aren't going to be able to get into a good place. You see that Keels is really struggling to do damage onto this A bomb site, and no members of Spirit have been taken out yet. So this clamp onto short needs to be hyper effective, and Some Die Young, he's already sniffed this one out in a way. There's 4 players upon this A bomb site. This is quite the stack, and now Team Spirit connected with all of the shots. It's a quick combination as they should take a 1-0 lead here in the pistol. Neelan trying to pop together some accurate headshots, but it's just not happening for him. 2 HP. And this is going to be a shutdown in the pistol. Very messy stuff, but there's no way out. 1-0. He's put 6 feet under.
Team Spirit Looking very, very convincing there in that pistol round. And I actually really like the way they play that setup. They don't contest that long control. They know that there's huge potential for them to get overwhelmed by those Glocks on that close range. And instead, they play it right back from the sights. Play that range advantage, which is something that they absolutely have here with those USPs on Dust 2. And they capitalize on it greatly. Two players crossing over towards B now. And the peek from Mir, certainly ill-advised. Those Glocks really baiting him into that one. He thought he'd have a few freebies, and instead he walked straight into the eyes of a scout on Mo. Gives K23 an opener, but of course this is a full eco except for that scout, so I don't think they'll be allowed a whole lot more into this one.
Quick kills. The big goal is to allow as little damage through as possible, and the MP9 is pretty much ensuring that. As I disbalance his scout, also just popping through the damage. There's the frag. He's so consistent. He barely ever misses. And right here, 70-second mark. What can the Glocks do here? Looks like a tech issue. And they've actually stopped the round with in a 4 versus 2. That's a bit peculiar.
Hear the ticks in the chat that round, and it always leads you to question whether they're trying to put in a pause and get a tech issue highlighted, get that pause coming in, whether they're just giving each other BM. You are noob. No, you are noob. We will win.
I don't think it's
certainly
that.
the former. Yeah, I think it's always the former at this kind of caliber. Everyone's friendly.
Yeah, speaking to people affiliated with the Team Spirit organization myself, they all seem like very friendly guys. I'm not as familiar with the K23 boys personally. I do know that Eddie from Spirit and like the players are friendly guys. They just want to concentrate on their main work in the server, get rocking and rolling, play the Counter-Strike, none of that BS. And well, we're getting back into the action here. That's really weird to see a round stopped that late into the action. But we'll replay it nonetheless.
It really is. It tends to be something that both teams have to agree to actually get reset. So actually a nice bit of sportsmanship there. Actually depends on what the tech issue was, I suppose. Either way, this round playing out very differently to the last. Only 5 Glocks on the K23 side as they charge their way up long. They should just get mowed down by these MP9s. I do wonder what that issue was then. Maybe it was the misbought scout on Mo, perhaps. I'm not too sure. Either way, it's a complete shot away. I disbalance, even landing the jumping shot. Pure BM.
That's a blast from the past back to 2016. And I'm sure that we'll see it again here. That scout is really not that accurate. That's actually 2 jumping shots in 1 round. You see the conversion. That scout is not accurate whilst jumping if you're looking to try that out at home. But I Disbalance somehow finds a way to make it work. 2-0, just as convincing as before.
Now the buy comes through for K23. And it's looking like they're trying to get aggressive on long again. That Molotov going to keep the 2 players at bay, but they charge right through it. The smoke goes in on the corner as well. And they're able to take the control. They're not going to aggress any further as of yet. Just going to make loads and loads of noise. Mir might be able to catch out Kioz on the cross here. Kioz with the smoke in hand. Actually going to miss that as well. It's not going to land on that little ledge, which gives him a sight line through the doors. Teammates start to walk up long here. They're actually getting rather close. I Disbalance has to be careful here.
Oh, that's a startling opening shot. Finally traded. And there's a null and void defense on the A bomb site. Nobody towards this side of the map. With Kios holding down mid here. Should be the conversion and pretty much does an acceptable amount of damage. Mir's actually going to gun in for this one in the 1 versus 3. And that Molotov holds him again at bay temporarily. Has to wait 5 or so seconds before engaging onto short. I think that K23 have to make a massive mistake if he's going to get back onto this one. Maybe just looking for exits at this point, trying to do some preliminary damage before round number 4 comes into place. Of course, he doesn't want K23 to survive with these 3 AKs. It means minimal investment into the next. And that money can start to build and bolster up. Bomb's going to explode. Mir doesn't find anything too much. And remember, this AK-47 in his hands means they should get out 4 rifles in the next. It's not going to be an ideal buy for Team Spirit. I'm sure they'll force into this one. Just with a little bit of bank behind them. Mia can drop an M4. There'll be no AWP. I guess, does Disbalance go for a scout with no body armor? I guess he should probably go for a deagle armor and nades as well if he wants to invest. But they do have a decent amount of money built up, so they could decide to just do a single save and then buy pretty fully into the next. That's in fact what they go for.
He's surprised that Sunday Young and Chopper don't invest anything into this round whatsoever. Might see an AWP drop come through, potentially even a double AWP setup in the next. That AK not be able to get any work done. It's Kado and Keels to find those 2 openers. That AK completely unretrievable as well for Team Spirit. This is an interesting one, though. As you say, I was very much expecting them to force back into this one. And that can really be the danger when you go for those bonus rounds. They, of course, kept the MP9 and a scout going into that round number 3. When they fall to it, doesn't always mean that you've got plenty of money in the bank behind you from the SMG kill bonus and you can just fully invest into round number 4 and contest it again. Sometimes it does actually mean that you either have to go for a shaky force up or you go for this eco. Timing doesn't quite work out for Norba there, but I don't think it's going to cause him too many problems. It should just be a clean round for K23, and if they can take no casualties, it actually allows an opportunity for Kado and Norba to build up their bank a little bit, because it is looking quite shabby, and it's not the position you want it to be in when you're trying to pull back this gap and take the lead.
Wouldn't be too much of a disadvantage here for Spirit. They get a full buy into the next. Of course, that AK-47 is fairly unretrievable with Kado, just holding towards that side of the map, and Spirit aren't even going to engage to try and find it anyway. Nevertheless, they could do damage onto Norba here. Has to be careful about what he does with the USPS, and his high disbalance constantly dealing maximum damage in this one. There's the smoke as well to bait out the cross. Does want to edge backwards to try and eliminate the low HP member Norba instead. And he might actually get away with it. He doesn't. Norba does find that pickup, but not too much heartache for Team Spirit in round number 4. They'll get the full buyout. High Disbalance will have his AWP. It's in fact the double AWP setup carried through in round number 5. And this is where we'll see what this Team Spirit defense is made of.
Absolutely.
I think we might even see a diamond-encrusted defense.
Shown a map like Dust 2, it's absolutely viable, and that's what I was saying. Chopper had plenty of money, Sunday Young had plenty of money. Question why they didn't invest anything into the last round. This is exactly why. A double AWP setup, something that K23 almost certainly won't be expecting here. Might just catch them off guard. Chopper getting super aggressive as well. Not going to be spotted out by that jump peek. The Molotov comes through nonetheless, and he's unable to convert. A bit of a whiff there onto Nilan. Gives K23 this man advantage. Gives them the leg room to work with in mid as well.
One thing that's really impressive to me about Team Spirit as an organization is their ability to just retain players. When you look back at their rosters since like mid-2016, they've only had 2 sets of teams. Yeah, an occasional stand-in or swap out here or there. But the majority of these players have been playing since either early or mid-2019, which means that they've kept these players for at least a year at this point. And considering their success, getting into ESL Pro League, climbing those rankings into the top 20, as far as HLTV is concerned, I'm surprised that, especially in the CIS scene, that there's been no poaching going on. And Team Spirit obviously keeping complete tabs on this one, and you want to turn around here in the 5th. Mo gets slammed. There's the MP9 to finish off the damage. And he cannot trade up, apparently. Nevertheless, it's a short lead. Sunday Young actually finding the lion's share of the shots there with the AWP. Just ultimate consistency. He doesn't have the flashiness or flair that Disbalance brings to the table, but 3 quick kills. And K23 get crushed.
And it crossed my mind there that actually K23 potentially went for a poor read. Going for that B site wasn't necessarily the smartest of moves, but to be honest, there was 2 on each site. Sometimes you do just see a lone player play that B anchor and someone contesting mid, but in the 5 versus 4, they just go 2 for 2, and the AWP and the M4 go absolutely massive. Cannot be faulted whatsoever. I thought we were going to see a funky boost there, something that I've actually never seen before. Quite give them any sightline to work with. They have to drop off of it. This is, of course, their last buy before they'll be forced down to an eco. And if they can't convert it, Team Spirit will almost certainly be able to put themselves on to 5. Oh, with this sort, desperately trying to find an opening pick. He's gone for a couple of boosts now. Just not giving him any sightlines whatsoever. Team Spirit, heavy presence over towards long. Got this sort watching mid as well. Balance has to make sure he hits this shot. And, well, I don't question his ability to do so whatsoever.
If I was K23, I'd probably be circumnavigating Balance at all points. Looks like a bit of a fake right now. K23 have members stacked all over this map. Looks like a fairly standard B split. Remember that Balance is still going to be a factor. There's only the one smoke. That should be towards the CT spawn. Lovely nade does a bunch of damage. And coming in from B-Tons, Mia, he's got the angle completely lined up. The smoke shots come through. He's able to find 2. And now Sumdar Young challenged once again. The AWP finds both kills. What a flick. Mo, the last player alive, just doesn't have enough seconds on the board to get the job done. Has to back off with the sniper. This is worthwhile investment that he has to bail away from B to try and save.
It, of course, gives him absolutely no money, though. He sits on $400 right now. K23, I think they'll still go for an eco here to make sure they have a buy in the next, but unless he can bring that AWP into another round, he'll have nothing to work with in the 8th. A fantastic spray down from Mir here to just put this one to bed. And 2 incredible shots. We don't see Sumdar Young pull out the AWP all too often, but we've seen him on it here in Dust 2, and he has been absolutely on fire with it. Right now, Team Spirit. It's double AWP setup, huge firepower advantage, and they lead by 2 here on Dust 2.
This AWP doesn't make a massive amount of sense to me. Yes, Mo's going to send things into mid, but he has to find so many kills if he's going to open anything up towards B, and challenging Balance is always a threat, and that's exactly why. Instantly falls. There's the AWP retrieved, but with your primary AWP gone, Mo's 0 to 5 right now at the start of Dust 2. He's had a real stinker of a series so far. These semi-finals certainly not being kind to him. And he doesn't connect. Balance as these picks come through. I'm sure he certainly will. Not much utility as well to force him off of this angle, which means he can just stand and hit the shots. There's both kills coming in. Balance with 4 frags. Unbelievable stuff against the pistols. He's so damn consistent. Once again, topping the tables here for Team Spirit. You'll see his 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th kills come in. Or maybe just the 9, but that's still startling.
Really, really incredible stuff from him there. You see that run boost come in from K23 to try and catch him off guard, and it just doesn't phase him whatsoever. Of course, it's round number 8 again, and an opportunity to talk about our partners over at Hellcase. Make sure you're using code MALTAV15 if you're topping up your balance over there.
What a ballsy angle. Who even tries to hit that jumping shot at this tier of Counter-Strike? Balance, I know he misses the shot, but just shows his confidence.
Does. He's just all fired up right now, isn't he? We've seen him on Mirage. He put up absolute numbers. And now here on Dust 2, he's warmed up. He's feeling good. He's going to take every single angle, try and hit those shots. And what we've actually seen from him so far is that whilst he can be very aggressive and quite dynamic with this AWP, taking up new angles, trying to get some aggression in here and there, he's never over-aggressive. We never see him poking too far, overstaying his welcome, and actually being punished for it and giving his team a disadvantage early on. Sometimes, of course, he'll lose that pick against Mo, but more often than not, he's the one to open things up and give his side an advantage. And that's been an instrumental part of Team Spirit's successes so far. Let's see if he can do it again.
They're challenging Idis Balance consistently. And realistically, he's been hitting everything. But this time, doesn't get away with anything. Now a fairly even Stevens retake opportunity. And this might turn the tides once more. Nobody's spotting out Magix towards long. So he's going to be the aggressive pincer, leaving these K23 members stuck on this A bomb site. And the afterplants are absolutely horrible. There does go down one smoke. But I think that Spirit are bailing. With that frag being found onto long, some die young, Mia, they both want to cling on to these premium rifles. They've got an AK, an AWP, and there's a leg. The AWP drops. That's a peak that he didn't have to go for. And now some die young might actually want to dig back in for this sniper rifle. And I think he will get away with it here. As that bomb goes down, both players from K23 upon long. Everybody watching the angle and should be an easy AWP to grab. There we go. Idis Balance. He's going to have the golden gun again. It's not quite golden, is it? It's white and yellow, or white and orange.
I'd certainly call the AWP in the last game a golden gun, staying alive for, what was it, 13, 14 rounds? Was absolutely nuts.
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He survived with that AWP for 13.8 rounds.
Yeah, I think that's still very, very impressive. Maybe it's not a record. Very, very impressive.
It's pretty close to just maximum. I don't think I've ever seen an AWP just stay alive for the whole half. Like getting it out early in the second round and then never dropping it until like the retake in the 15th. That's pretty outstanding. You're pretty much never losing a map when you have that man just firing on all cylinders like this. On Dust 2, he hasn't had the same effect, but you definitely can't criticize him too much. He's definitely, well, he's still top fragging. Just shows you how good this man is. And once again, he's holding this ramp angle as they close onto short. Maybe K23 feel lucky here in the best of three.
It goes up. That's going to delay things further for K23, meaning they have to go for this push very, very late in the round. They're all stacked up on short here. Really need to aggress. They haven't got a lot of time here, and they've still got 5 kills to find, or at least 3 on this A bomb site before they can get this numbers in. Idis Balance. He's got the angle. That's where it's going to give them a little bit of room to work with. He turns the flash, wary of long, and it leaves Chopper to try and find these openers, but Idis Balance gets one on the cross, looking for the second, lands the head as well. That initiates Chopper to swing, and that is going to be all over for K23. Nothing more they can do in this round. Mo and Norba are just going to have to go for the save, and Norba's not even going to be able to do so. An incredible run boost from Sundai Young to take him out. Norba, well, he can't do anything. He's just deemed completely redundant. He has to fall back, and Team Spirit put another very, very convincing round on the board.
Mo is just being bullied by these AWPs right now. Idis Balance and Sundai Young has his number. And when the secondary AWP is also firing on all cylinders in a map like this, especially with this one being Dust 2, you see both players there. They've got 19 kills between the two of them. That's pretty outstanding, and I can't see that slowing anytime soon. It might be another very assertive CT side from Spirit. And then we've got to talk about Idis Balance. Making those short shots look incredibly easy. Funnily enough, if you've tried playing that car angle, it's one of the hardest AWP angles in the whole game for my money. You can only realistically see the very tippy top of a T's head. And Idis Balance just consistently shooting them to pieces. This round looks equally as similar. Finding the first, still the double AWPs in play. In K23 with the double AKs, there's not a single set of Kevlar to boot. And they're going to head towards this A site.
All creeps through the smoke. He's hoping that he's able to catch someone off guard. Instead, Magix is fully aware. Still holding this angle as well. He is low HP, so it's certainly dangerous, and dropping that weapon might just give away his position. Nonetheless, Kado doesn't want to spam it. Bomb in hand, 50 seconds on the clock. It's definitely doable, especially against these two AWPs. Does he get this done? He needs to find this sight kill to find himself anything here, and his crosshair is absolutely miles away from Magic's. He's able to find himself that headshot and put Team Spirit's 7th round on the board. And they're looking very good here on Dust 2. And actually, I'm seeing a recurring theme, getting a bit of deja vu here. K23 seem to be able to put those early 3 rounds on the board, and then Team Spirit, it's exactly what they did on Mirage. They just run away with it.
That's exactly what it is. A runaway half. A little bit of early success from K23, but not able to outlast the favorites in this one either. I think they need 6, 7 rounds, and they're starting to run out of runway on this T side. Idis balance, it's quite a nice angle to get things started. Not finding anything as of now. Are they ready for that boost? It does get dismounted back to the A-bomb site, but yes, it's just because Idis balance doesn't want to get caught by short. This Xbox is quite a precarious angle when you've got that boost completely mounted, and he's even hitting the wall bangs. Felt like he wanted to even go for a second shot there. It's usually a bad decision when you're up against a terrorist stalker, but here comes the nade, and look at that damage.
That is an absolutely fantastic grenade. Gets Mo and Neelan down to that red HP mark. Going to make things very difficult to get back in here. And as they try their luck on short again, a nice boost from Mo might be able to find him something. The head pokes out just at the wrong moment. I think Chopper might have actually spotted it. Not too sure at this point. Just doesn't want to go for the repeak. Instead, stays alive, calls the rotations. They've got so much info right now, and K23 with 30 seconds on the clock, still all stacked up on short, looking like they are going to continue to commit to this A site. The smoke's set up. Here the charge comes in. York still on Idis balance on this angle. Chopper still alive on the box as well. Swings out, deals a tiny bit of damage. Can't find a whole lot more than that, though. Idis balance lands a fantastic flick. And for now, Team Spirit keep this round at bay.
Quick kills, no success from K23 as Idis balance cuts away the faces. There's almost another one as well. He only sees a slither of Mo's face finally getting taken, but Spirit members are everywhere, and that AWP is going to hit the deck for K23. 8-3 here for Spirit. A nice dominant lead on this CT side, which is currently snowballing out of control. We'll probably just see another disbalance highlight reel. This is from a couple of rounds ago here, but just completely showing what he's made of. And it seems to be solid gold here on Dust 2. That double AWP setup, K23 just haven't found any answer for it. This time they're back onto the pistols. This absolutely sucks. This balance only misses the one. Certainly doesn't miss twice here. And with the AK-47 being the support, this double stack towards mid should be able to get the job done. Lots of damage thrown into place. And you see the stack there. 3 players to find the contest. There's no opportunity for K23 to grab those rifles. And even when it's Mo to find 2 quick kills with the Deagle, it's put into minimum effect. And Norba, hello? Wakey, wakey. Missing quite a routine shot with the Deagle there. That could have been a freebie onto this curly letter.
Instead, Sumdai Young's going to hold up this angle with the AWP. Flash not actually going to affect anything. It completely whiffs. And Sumdai Young's going to be able to hold up this round. A very nice headshot from Norba, actually, in the second. Brings it into a one-on-one. No way does he convert this. He's got the bomb in hand, and he's able to retrieve the AWP as well. The plant comes through. He's got plenty of time for a post-plant position. This would be absolutely huge if he can tip this one over the edge. He has absolutely no idea where Magix is coming from. But so far, he's made the right play. The inverted doors as well means that he's got a sight line onto the tunnels. He's going to be holding it. Surely he lands this shot. The whiff, though, gives Magix an opportunity into this one. And now Norbert has to fight his way back in. The defuse coming through. He's holding it, though. Does Norbert expect it? He swings and whiffs again. And Magix just tips it over the edge. That could have very easily gone the way of K23. But a couple of whiffs from Norbert allow Team Spirit back in.
That's so painful. Norba's done all of the damage at that point. 2 assertive headshots to eliminate the defense towards that side of the map. He's only got 1 to face. He seems to be like massively advantageous at that point, but Spirit somehow find a way to wriggle the way out of a disaster. They're in round number 12, a 9-3 lead. K23 down in the dumps on this terrorist side. They're Dust 2. It doesn't even look like they're making many mistakes, realistically. Just Team Spirit have all of the building blocks of an absolute slammer here on the CT half. Idis Balance finds another. That's a mistake. Neelan just swinging into the open. He doesn't have Mo as a support. See that Idis Balance can just keep the angle posted. Even takes a pop shot. Not able to connect.
Idis Balance is absolutely nuts. He's not even a player that I've really had on my radar, but he will certainly be going on it after today. Such a consistent performance. He sits 16-6 right now. He's super aware of this boost as well. Can't quite connect the shot onto Mo, but nonetheless, a 4 versus 4. The nade will come through. Deals a fair amount of damage as well. In fact, deals tons of damage. Keels actually goes down to 4 HP running through those flames as well. Team Spirit really keep this push at bay just with this utility. Bomb yet to go down. The numbers are going to be punched in now. No chance of denying it. Chopper doesn't want to go for some crazy jump peak. Instead, they're going to wait until they're all in position to go for this retake and then play it as a unit.
Magix is the all-important clamp, and without the AWP watching towards long, not hitting any shots, there's Nade just to take him out of the equation. All of the kills coming through for Spirit, 3-3, as Kado's also going to drop. That's double digits for the Russian squad, as they might just be a solid lock for the grand final at this point. They're 6 away. They put together back-to-back solid defenses on Mirage and now Dust 2. It seems to be the AWPs doing the heavy lifting once more. Sundar Young, Idis Balance. They've got 27 frags between the two of them. And there's Mia putting them to 40 for 3. That's just really nasty stuff if you're in the K23 camp. They'll get one final full buy before things come to a close. And this is identical maps pretty much. This is exactly the same position that they found themselves in earlier on Mirage. And well, Jay, we saw how that went. It wasn't too pretty. It was a 16-9. And Team Spirit, they might even be able to put together an even more dominant performance here in map 2, especially if Mia and Idis Balance going to connect with the shots. It's an absolute bulldozer crushing the attack on mid.
That's really the thing here. When 20 seconds into the round, you've lost 3 players. This is a full investment from K23. They had all the tools to work with. And before even expending the lion's share of their utility, they get completely put to bed. Minute 10 already on the clock, and well, Kado's the last lone surviving player for K23. He's even been spotted out. And there's no chance for him to come back into this one. He knows that the best he can do here is damage, and that's going to be very impactful, especially in, unimpactful, especially in round number 14, where his opponents have got a massive economy. And nonetheless, Magic rips his head clean off. Team Spirit put their 11th on the board. If history repeats itself, then we'll be seeing an 11-4. But with K23's investment in round number 15, I think there's a huge chance for Team Spirit to take this one over the edge, have a 12-3 half, and close out this series.
Well, there are a couple of ways that you can win a series in this sort of a dominant fashion in CS. Sometimes it's just all 5 players, complete dominance. With this one, it seems to be the AWPs coming into play. We've talked about it so much, feeling like a broken record at this point. Sundar Young hasn't been flashy, hasn't really bamboozled any attacks. Nevertheless, he's been hitting 1 or 2 shots consistently and just fairly routine, quick, nice, snappy frags. Just putting together all of the pieces. And is this really going to be a dry peak? The AWP is more than ready for this one, as he's got the angle once again. There's the swing, almost the collateral. Everybody taking tons of damage. And how do K23 hold on to this B bomb site? Yes, the C4 will go down, but they've barely got 100 HP between them. And as the AK-47s can now clamp through from mid, Idis Balance is still a factor with the AWP. And K23, I just cannot see them holding on to this in the final 15th round. Yes, the kits are in place. They're waiting for a couple of mistakes. There's still 2 HEs in play. Team Spirit, they've conserved all of these HEs, all of these nades, and now the shots are starting to come in. The crossfire does get breached. It gets broken, and that's a 12th for the favorites.
Absolutely incredible stuff for Team Spirit. A perfect retake. Near flawless. They take the half 12-3. And, well, Espada might be playing this final series a little bit sooner than expected. Absolute steamroll so far from Team Spirit. And if they can convert this second half pistol round, I think it will almost be said and done. K23, they've just struggled to find their footing at all. We obviously favoured Team Spirit in the pre-game, but we gave K23 a chance at this one. And, well, the odds from our partners over at LootBet showing us that you won't get a single penny back if you bet on Team Spirit. They are that confident in them winning.
Yeah, absolutely nothing. This looks to be a fast run and gun stratagem towards the B-bomb site. And K23, they have to win it, otherwise it's series and tournament potentially over. That's the rotate, and the retake's already in full force, but these blocks finding all of the headshots. Mia finally does get prized away from the site. That is a fourth on the board, but K23 need a lot more than that.
Pause comes in as well. It's looking like a tech pause. Hopefully
Spirit are just like, we lost a round. There must be something wrong.
Absolutely must be.
Call the technical.
Been
Call the doctor.
That's the thing, though. They actually lost the T-pistol round on Mirage. We saw them kick things off on the CT side. They had a fantastic pistol round. We saw the same here on Dust 2. And then complete mirror image. We see K23 take that initial pistol round on their CT side, and maybe they can pull back a few rounds here like they did on Mirage. Something that I want to touch upon, I wanted to talk about it earlier on, but now we have the opportunity to in this tech pause, is actually the fact that Team Spirit, in so many of these rounds, their retakes have been flawless, but as soon as they have a significant disadvantage, they just go for the save. And that's actually highlighted in the fact that we saw that AWP being saved for 14 rounds in the first half of Mirage, and they actually lost 4 rounds. They had an 11-4 half, and that means that in 4 of those rounds, they say, no, okay, we're just going to go and save. And there wasn't a single round where every player on Team Spirit fell, and we're really seeing the same here on Dust 2 as well. Despite the fact that they've lost 4 rounds, other than in that pistol round, they've actually kept so many players alive. They're not afraid to just go for the save and come back into the next and try and bounce it back. And I think that shows a really strong discipline side when you're willing to do that. You don't make these hasty decisions to go for ill-advised retakes. Instead, you just hold on to your weapons, play the long game.
Right now, Neelan, he's playing the short game, playing up close and personal with the SMG, and should be able to rattle off the headshots incredibly quickly. He heavily needs to if he's going to survive. And here they come. Lots of money for his back pocket. Bit of damage punched through. A second shot with the Glock, but there's the shutdown. Only 1 frag found as a response. I don't think it's going to be much of a head scratcher for Team Spirit as they get into their initial buy round, though. Here come the AK-47s. Disbalance could even go for a glass cannon here. That's the dilemma that they've got on this T side. How much is he dependent on it? And, well, there comes the sniper here. No armor, of course. But does Disbalance even need it? That's the big question. He'll be watching towards the middle of the map, and that is suicide for Mo.
Really is. You may not have been expecting Disbalance to have that AWP in the round. And as Team Spirit find 2 openers, they've got a good chance of closing this one out right here, right now. This could be the start of the end, especially if Mir finds himself one more. A very tight angle. And he fires off a couple of shots, but he's unable to finish off Kado. His position now known, has to convert this frag, and he's able to do so. A 5 versus 3, in fact, a 5 versus 2 now for Team Spirit. They've taken tons of damage, but they should just be able to play the numbers game here. 1 on each site. And if they can pick off this lone player in the form of Kios over on short, this will be a free A bomb site for them to take, and free 13th round.
As you said, they're definitely playing the numbers game here. 13-5. Have those numbers. 50 seconds left is another number. Lots of time to work with. There go some flawless cross smokes. I think that Norber and Kios, they probably just do have to hold down a crossfire here. One good HE along with an AWP shot, can really close things down. But I guess you should expect Magic's to be the first prod, and that just allows everybody else onto this A bomb site. Keel's taking away the low HP player means minimum impact before that bomb can go down and through. Yes, the Molotov delays them for a couple of seconds, but with the smokes placed and still 15 seconds left on this board, the flank in full effect. They've got players everywhere scourging for these final pickups, and Norba needs to find a 1 versus 4. It's never going to happen. Right over the top for Samdai Young. 13-5 here. As soon as Spirit get rifles in hand, it's back to the dominant performance once again. Prying onto short, just keeping long control as well. It seems like they have terrorists all over this map, and K23 have to be very careful where they tread. This is boom or bust here for the counter-terrorists.
Had it have been a default plant there, would have been different. I had visions of a Kelly-esque play coming through for Norbert, making something work, but with it going down behind the box, there was absolutely no chance of him doing anything there. He walked straight into the blender. Crossfire cuts him out. Team Spirit now 3 away from that magic number and putting themselves in the grand finals. Tech pause comes through. K23 just trying to sort this one out. You're absolutely right. And I mean, what do you do in this round? You have very little to work with. Not only do you have to be careful of actually where Team Spirit are aggressing, because they've been poking holes in everything right now. Yeah, they've been super aggressive. They've been absolutely perfect at taking this control. Their utility usage has been fantastic. And now, when you've not been able to get the work done with the full investment, you've got to try and get it done with a couple of rifles and a few pistols here and there. Very, very shoddy buy. And how do they get this one done?
If it's going to happen, especially with Mia prying into the first frag and Norba also being caught in the crossfire. 2 quick kills. The 8 bomb site is open for the taking. And Team Spirit, this should be a very easy 14th for them. As soon as they get the intel that this is completely clear, and Mia is about to communicate that. Everybody is towards the middle of the map. Here comes the bomb. It all wraps in and they don't even need it. The frags come through all in unison. And Team Spirit just a couple of steps away from series point to set up that grand final with a Spada in just an hour or so's time.
It looks like the answer to my earlier question is they don't get it done, Squid. Not even close. They don't even find themselves a single frag. Mo in round number 20. Buying up this scout, and that's all they have to work with here. Samdai Young actually find himself an opener. This is a full eco from K23. They're not looking to find anything here. That scout investment's quite a bizarre one. It actually means that Mo doesn't have money to buy into this potential final round. I'm not really sure what he was hoping for there. Nonetheless, the AWP's actually going to be dropped to him. Mass going over towards Kado. They will have somewhat of a full buy, but very, very limited utility. They either expend that early or they hold on to it for the retake. Either way, it's certainly going to be a detriment. They have to try and get this one done to stay in this series and not be knocked out of the tournament so early.
Realistically, this has been one of the most one-sided semi-finals I've ever seen. And here come the kills for the final time. Mia and Magix opens things up with all of the headshots. They've still got the insurance policy of Idis balanced towards the top of mid, who finds another one, and it's series over. We found our grand finalists in incredibly dominant fashion. Team Spirit taking over the top, 16-9 and then 16-5.